Hey, everybody. Welcome to season 11 of 90's Now. How are you guys?
Ooh, the three amigos are back.
We're back at it, babies.
Yes.
Babies.
With some Tostito chips, we are ready to go.
You have Tostito chips with you?
Well, because he said the three amigos, I figured I should bring something.
I appreciate that.
I am so hungry at this moment. Do
Me
not
too.
mention Tostitos.
You're welcome.
Please.
They don't sponsor us as of yet, but maybe.
There's still time, Tostitos chips.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
By the
we
way,
could do
just
for
quickly before you start things off, Sharon, you called me at the radio station a couple of weekends ago, and I hadn't seen you, like, because we'd been off for the summer vacation.
Yeah.
But you called me, and we had a little chit chat, and then I thought to myself the next day, I was so happy to hear Sharon's voice. I just wanted to put that out there. It
Thanks.
was really nice. Like, and I was just like, it was really great to catch up with you. I don't like when we don't speak for a month.
And I'm
Yeah, it was
pretty sure
crazy.
that's what a lot of listeners are going to be saying right now while listening.
Yeah, we're
Especially
back.
with your voice, Adam.
Oh, yeah.
And my
Adam,
voice is a bit shaky. It
Adam
happened.
was dancing on speakers on his vacation.
you got to do what you got to do, man.
Yeah.
Were you really on speakers? And if so, where?
No, it's just the weather got a bit colder, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put my sweatshirt on and open all the windows at home." And I think it was a bit too cold to open the windows at home for the whole.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been weird weather-wise. Either very hot or suddenly cold. But you know what? It could be worse. I saw some weather images on the news earlier this morning. I'm not even sure where in the world it was. I know that California is experiencing some what they described as explosive wildfires, but also like different places are having hailstorms that looks like snowstorms, just like whipping through with winds and stuff like that. So if the worst that we're getting at this stage of the game is varying degrees of extreme heat or cold or whatever, I think we're okay. We're gonna be okay.
We'll take it.
I'll find something else to complain about. Don't you worry. So what we've got for today, you guys, in this tackling of season 11, I know, take a minute to let that sink in, is quite a lot, actually. We'll bring you all the same fun stuff that we like to get to as usual, but also with Kelly Clarkson celebrating a pretty decent anniversary. She'll tick off at least partially our now requirement of 90's Now. We'll also tell you how Britney Spears shows her gratitude for making it back to the top of the charts. We've got the 90's version of Puff Daddy having a dream come true, so that the adult version of Puff Daddy is pretty happy. And Dave Mustaine of Megadeth does have a retirement plan, and it's probably exactly what fans would hope for. So we'll talk about that. But also the Foo Fighters and their fans around the world gathered in person at Wembley Stadium and online on YouTube to pay tribute to Taylor Hawkins. And as many hundreds of thousands of people as there were, it was an intimate 6-hour-long experience that I will treasure as a fan forever. Did you guys watch?
I watched
sent you clips.
sections.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? 6 hours is a long commitment. And it
Did
just
you do all
happened.
6?
Yeah, pretty much.
Good for you. So, like, on YouTube?
Yeah.
Did you have to pay for it, or you were late?
No.
Okay, great.
No, and there was no gaps there were gaps in time. There were no commercial breaks or anything like that, which they totally could have easily done, because there were gaps in the flow of it when it came time to, changing from one band to the next band. There was a lot of times where there was not much going on and the crowd was just waiting. So it really felt like we were there waiting with the crowd. And then the list of artists, which by now everybody has seen how great it was just like one after the other. And for Paul McCartney to have popped out toward the end of it before the Foo Fighters did like a pretty decent set after welcoming all these guests playing songs in honor of Taylor Hawkins, Paul McCartney shows up. I'm like, what the heck? This is next level. This is the impact of this one incredible musician and how, what he had on the world. So it's not just fans, it was fans within friends. And it was so cool.
I loved Shane Hawkins' performance.
My goodness.
He's bananas on the drums. Like,
he locked in, man. Like that whole fill at the end, which Taylor did also in live performances. I've been fortunate enough to see that a few times. But you could tell he was in it. His eyes were locked. And God, we both have played drums before. Adam, I'm not sure if you've played drums before,
Just a little bit.
but it's the kind of thing that it divides your brain because your two hands are doing something different and your 2 feet are doing something different, but it all has to be something that works together at the same time. And he was locked in and he had that look. My favorite part about that, and I swear I've seen it 100 times now because it's so compelling to me, was that Dave turning around a couple of times and checking in on him kind of thing. But then when it came to that fill at the end, Dave moves his hair and he's like watching him like this proud uncle and he's going for it. And then they show another shot out where you can see Pat smear through like a symbol in one of the toms doing the same kind of look, like, look at him go. It was just so nice and supportive and family driven. It just felt like we were a part of it. So I was really really appreciative.
Did they bring out the family at one point, like the wife and the kids, or no? Or
I didn't see that happen. They showed some, background scenes where you could pick out who the wife was, and I'm pretty sure she was standing with Dave's wife. But the kids were sort of sitting backstage kind of and watching the show from the side kind of thing. Dave Grohl's daughter sang a few songs, which was really great. Chrissy Hine, gosh, of the Pretenders, she was just like so cool. She's always been just so cool. And she came out and was so cool.
I liked I saw a section of Wolfgang.
Yeah, that was my next one. Just like, and for me, I think for a guy like him who's lost his father, also a rock and roll hero, I thought it was important that he was there, not only because Taylor Hawkins was a fan of Van Halen and all great rock bands, and you could tell by the shorts he wore and the tights that he wore, but that this is a young man who's pursued a career in music, got to play with his father, got to spend time and really just be super tight with his dad, who knows what it's like for this 16-year-old to be in this position. So I thought that was really important that that happened.
And I'm sure you do too. I follow, but you're not a big fan of Twitter, but I follow Wolfgang on Twitter. And because has it been 2 years yet? Are we closing in on that? Like a year and a half? Like,
yeah, year and a half.
So yeah, so he I guess he gets bombarded constantly by fans, like, saying how much they miss his dad and like all that stuff. And a tweet I saw him put out recently sounds like obviously he appreciates the support, but I think he also is tired of having to try to make some fans feel better, or thinking that them thinking that it's his responsibility to make them feel better. And it's like, he's like, I lost my dad too, like, he's my dad. So,
well, exactly. I think he handled them from the beginning too. There was one person that sort of kind of chided him at the beginning for, well, don't think you can ever do that kind of thing. And he handles them, which is amazing because he's 30 or 31. So he handles them in a way that you would expect someone of that age to do, sort of like, all right, we get it. You have an opinion that nobody asked for, but you feel you can share it here, that kind of thing. So it's great. It's, I think, the best of both worlds.
That's amazing. Do you think Shane will continue to play?
Oh, without a doubt. You can tell people that practice their instrument and get very good at it. And you can tell the people that are born to do that. And Taylor Hawkins talks about his beginnings of figuring out that he was the drummer by sitting down at a kit and being able to do a rhythm right away, which takes a lot of people that are trying to learn a little bit longer, but he got it right out of the gate. You can tell that with this kid, whether or not he does it professionally, who knows? He'll be a musician on his own terms, without a doubt.
Have they picked a replacement? And I don't like, that's the wrong word, but no way. Like,
I haven't seen anything. This was like the first time I'd heard anything from the Dave Grohl or any of the band members side of things. So I thought they were just taking their time in processing, the death of their
because it's only been
brother.
A few months, right? So
yeah. So at a moment in the show, I had a thought like, this could be it. like this concert and the one at the end of the month in LA, this could be it. They could decide that they can't go on without him. That's possible. That happens with bands. Look what happened with Led Zeppelin. Their drummer died, and that's what happened. Sometimes it's a lead singer that you can't move on without, you know, but sometimes that piece of the puzzle leaves such a major void that you can't even fathom moving forward. But at the same time, I think their compulsion to play music is as strong as that. So I wouldn't be surprised either way. I'll be sad one way if it happens that they don't carry on, but I won't be surprised if they don't either. But what was evidenced after a 6-hour show like that is that should they decide to go on, they really do have a pretty impressive cast of auditionees that they could consider. I think even, Shane should probably be allowed to grow up a little bit. And maybe in the meantime, they could pick Rufus Taylor, the son of Roger Taylor from Queen. Who is a drummer from Queen, but Rufus, his son, is an incredible drummer also. He played during the tribute as well. So
amazing.
Yeah, super cool.
Are you going to watch the Los Angeles show?
Yes.
Okay.
I will.
As you should. That was like a test question you passed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's going to be quite similar, but there are a few added names on the list.
Yeah, Wolfgang's going to be back there. I saw. Yeah, I think it's very similar except for a few additions I saw. So
like Pink is on the list.
That'll be awesome. I love her. She can have
Miley also. Yeah, agreed. And Miley
Alanis,
also.
right? Is that what you just said, Alanis? Yeah.
Miley will be on, but Alanis should totally be on. Like it was Sass Jordan that gave him his first job, but it was Alanis Morissette that sort of, I think the experience with recording with her and touring with her introduced him to the world, that he was so good at being in, which is, as a professional musician, and made him want it. It was the phone call from Dave to Taylor Hawkins when the Foo Fighters were looking for a drummer after their second album that he called Taylor saying, "Hey, can you recommend anybody?" And he's like, "Yeah, me." But as the story goes, Dave Grohl didn't want to take him away from Alanis because, he thought that was a thing. And he said, no, I want to be in a band.
Oh, amazing.
So that's why he left. And I mean, right choice, obviously.
Yeah. Solid choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, before you move on, I saw a stupid tweet from a guy who will remain nameless, but you know who he is. And I'll also not say it just because I'm not sure the exact context because it's a tweet.
I totally know who you're talking about. You don't even have to say it.
But he said something to the effect of like, how come Taylor gets a tribute and Eddie Van Halen hasn't yet? And I was like, what? Yeah.
Gosh.
And then that got sent to Wolfgang.
Like what sort of?
Because it was through Wolfgang's Twitter account that I saw this. And it's like, that's the other thing is like, you're not helping Wolfgang. You know what I mean? Like by some, creating some kind of controversy that's not there. And like, he's still sad about his dad and always will be, Is
there even an answer that would satisfy that question? It's like a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
But like what answer? No answer would satisfy that person who asked. But why would you ask? So that this young man who's still grieving his father will have to figure that out? Because who else is going to do it? The band had broken up for the most part. And so the other person that should put it together is his brother, who's also grieving. Give me a break.
Yeah. Lame.
People. Oh, well, thanks for getting me worked up, Kill.
You're welcome.
Now let's get you worked up and back into that trivia mode.
90s. Now, trivia.
Bing bong.
So, anyone new to the show for season 11, we have fancy questions on pastel colored cards.
Because we are a fancy people.
We are. I got it from Winners. You're welcome. So here's a sporting question. I figure we'll start off with sports, seeing as how you're both sporty people.
Yes.
What was the nickname of 90s NBA star David Robinson? This was he was very big in the 90s and into the 2000s.
Basketball?
Yeah, so he had a nickname. Like, how Michael Jordan was like Air Jordan?
Yeah.
Magic Johnson. David Robinson had a name. Like even
Sharon.
Sorry, Sharon, go.
Flight Time.
Oh, I'll tell Jimmy Jam, but it wasn't. No.
The Magnificent.
The Magnificent. No, that's a good one.
Oh,
It was
that's
the
very nice.
Admiral.
Oh,
Because he
Wow.
actually was, from what I remember, he was in the cadets or he was in the army or something when he was before he got to the NBA, something like that.
wow. Cool.
David Robinson. So no, that's incorrect. All right. The next question is this is I just want to see who can blast out their name fast enough. Because if you get this wrong, there's a problem with you.
Uh-oh.
Great. Thanks.
News and politics. So we know that Rachel in Australia will love this one.
Right, Joe.
Rachel, in 1990, the Oka crisis was a land dispute that occurred in which country?
Adam,
Sharon.
I'll go with Canada.
It was.
Very
Yay.
nice.
Can you believe we actually got, and it actually says Quebec, Canada, which is where we reside. I was so excited to see that in all of these cards, we finally got like a Canadian Quebec mention.
Wow.
I had a teacher in high school, a history teacher in high school, that actually lived on
In
What?
Ganawake?
the street where
Oh,
um,
really?
they had the whatever you would call it, the
Blockade?
the blockade. He would live like a 30-second walk away from there.
Oh my
wow.
goodness, that's
He
crazy.
would have lots of stories about the Oka crisis. Yeah.
Wow. What a time it was. 30 years ago now?
It was yeah, I guess it was 32 now, I think.
Wow. Eh?
I was close to being born.
Close. 4 years away, little Adam.
Almost here.
Yeah, it was in 1990, from July 11th to September 26th, 1990.
See, in my head, though, in my COVID head, I think that's 30.
Yeah.
Plus 2. The 2. Now to go from Kelly's trivia to Kelly Clarkson.
Ooh,
Kelly Clarkson is celebrating a pretty big anniversary, right? Anniversary, right, Kel?
Yep.
Which
20 years since
20
American
years.
Idol win.
Isn't that
Wow.
wild.
I remember watching Kelly Clarkson on American Idol.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the first television memories I have. That and the first seasons of Survivor.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have.
That is all I can give you.
But with
Uh,
Kelly, like I mean, I know there's, obviously Carrie Underwood also, a winner from Idol.
Kelly Underwood was season 1.
But she was, yeah, Kelly was season 1. And where's Justin
Carrie,
Guarini?
Carrie was season 1. No, Kelly was season 1. You're
Kelly
right.
was season 1. Carrie was like season 5, I think.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, there's a few people that have come out of there that have done extremely well. But to me, Idol is Kelly Clarkson. Like, that's,
Oh, yeah.
And
she beat Justin Guarini, right?
where's that guy?
Where's that guy now? I
They
don't know
sometimes do these like articles like on the 10th, they'll be like 10 years since, the start of Idol. Where's Justin Guarini? And like 20 years. What's he look like now?
And it's funny that for Kelly Clarkson to have risen above the circumstance of winning a contest like that, which was so contractually binding,
Mhm.
right? Like that in and of itself, that she succeeded beyond that is impressive. And she did it. Like, she did her time. She knows what she signed as
Mhm.
as far as a contract goes, but she's long since surpassed that.
Oh yeah, and there was
oh
a
my
time.
gosh.
There was a time too, I think, Sharon, you may or may not remember this, where there was rumors that she, and I don't know if this was proven to be true, but rumors that she tried to distance herself from the show for a while. Like
For
didn't want
sure.
to be known as, American Idol winner Kelly Clarkson. But now in the last several years, and I this is the part I would know, she's totally realigned herself, like with the show. I think didn't she make an appearance on there a couple years ago? Even after being on The Voice and stuff. But Kelly Clarkson is truly like a 360 degree of amazingness. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
agreed.
she's her singer. She's got her television show now. She's like been a coach on The Voice. And from what I've heard from everybody, she's absolutely a delight to be around. So
I just love how into music she is, and how
Kelly Yogi.
yeah, that. But like when she's coaching on The Voice, she would have to bring up her Idol experience because of the experience of having to go through the process of a show like that. But the fact that she's singing along to the words that, like, no matter what the genre of music they're singing, she knows her stuff. Like, she's a student of her craft, and I love that. What a cool, like, if you're committing to your life's passion, music is a pretty cool thing to commit to.
Exactly.
I like it.
And she
So
kicked that guy to the curb. Go Kelly.
Yeah.
Go Kelly.
Her version of we talked about this before we did
Happier
it.
than ever.
Billie
Yeah.
Eilish cover.
Oh my gosh, that's like it's
She
so
legit
it's so
can sing.
triumphant.
She can sing anything because she can sing Billie Eilish. She can sing Mariah Carey. She loves singing Janet Jackson. Like if you Google or YouTube Kelly Clarkson and If,
Yeah.
bananas.
Ooh, okay, I'll look for that.
Mhm.
And she
I'll
can
do it.
sing some Kelly Clarkson.
That's
Yeah,
right.
totally that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also know not to mess with her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. Because she had that whole thing too with the situation that Kesha went through with that Dr. Luke guy.
Right.
And not that she had, I don't think there was any of what Kesha had going on, but I think there was like a writing situation or whatever that was going on there.
Yep.
And Kelly just wasn't having it. So
Kesha was also at the Foo Fighter at the Taylor Hawkins tribute, by the way.
was she?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she looked great, sounded great, everything.
Cool.
Everything. We've got a lot of music stories today, which is great. And fun that we can go from Kelly Clarkson to Megadeth without missing a beat.
What a segue.
No kidding. Dave Mustaine has gone through some stuff in the past few years, health concerns and things like that. But always manages to keep a hold on what he wants. And actually, he's a fun follow on social media, on Instagram. He'll post videos where he's sort of, in a hoodie, sitting, minding his own business, give someone a ticket, leave, like totally blow their minds. But when it comes to when he'll hang up his guitar, his plan is fairly concise. And he says, when I can't do it is when I'm not going to do it. So
wait, what does that mean?
That means he talked about the toughest part about his health stuff and going through chemo and stuff like that. He said the toughest part about that wasn't the process of going through all the radiation and chemotherapy. He said a lot of the cancer medication gave him it messed with his memory pretty bad. He says they call it chemo brain, which we've heard from people. So he'd been having a hard time staying in the moment, but that it's getting better. So he said he was talking about a bit about slowing down when he got sick, but now he says, now, if anything, I want to tour more and just carry on until the end, when I actually can't do it anymore. So as soon as he feels like he can't do it anymore is when he'll stop, which I think is going to be a while from now.
I think that's amazing. I think that's a good, not that you would have wished what he went through on him, but it gave him a wake up call that, I don't need to slow down. This is my passion. This is my life. Like even like my dad went through a health scare and like this was a couple of years ago. And when he came out of it, he was more passionate about his farming. Like I didn't think he could get more passionate.
Wow.
More passionate. It was like more purpose, more whatever. So
that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes you need a little nudge. And by little nudge, I don't mean to diminish something like chemotherapy or radiation or cancer, period. But if it's what you need, it's what you need. So we were talking about Puff Daddy as like the kid inside Puff Daddy and how he's pretty happy with what the adult Sean Combs has gotten to do professionally, artistically lately.
Mm-hmm.
He went to see the doctor. Dr. Dre. How cool. That's a whole East and West coming together and just getting along.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if Dre was ever really into the West Coast, East Coast thing.
I would argue if that thing even existed at all, outside of an office where management thought we got to create some kind of, exactly. Yeah. Mind you, there were 2 casualties, significant casualties in whatever that it was. But I think music is not magnifying, the attracting principle. It brings people together. So it
was nice to see actually Diddy saying that like he was like a like a teenager going bananas meeting his superhero, and it's crazy because Sean Combs is like a billionaire on his own, and is arguably as successful as Dr. Dre. Pretty much, like, because Dre has the beats or had the beats and Sean had the fashion label and all these other things. So I mean, Dre might have a bit more money, but overall they're pretty. So it's interesting to see him go bananas, hanging out with his like idol, which is cool.
Well, it's neat too that he's sort of like what was it? He actually said one of my biggest dreams finally came true, and that he remembers the effect of Dr. Dre on him, uh, on what kind of producer he wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. I love
Yeah.
that, that you can still have things getting checked off your bucket list or your dreams coming true list even well into your adulthood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What else did we want to talk about?
Elton and Britney's gift.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty cool, period. Elton John is just one of those guys that it's not for nothing that he's had a hit on the charts in every decade for the last 6. He's an incredible songwriter. He's also a fan of music. So to reimagine, as they call it, it's not really a cover song, it's a reimagining of a song that is what has brought Britney back, and she's pretty happy about. What's the name of the song? I'm totally blanking on the name of the song.
Closer.
Right. So the riff off of Tiny Dancer, right? So what do you send as a thank you to the guy who probably has everything and wants nothing, He probably just What's that?
What did she do? What did she send?
What did she do? Well, she peppered them with the gifts. What was my other cheesy segue? She seasoned it with gratitude. She gave him salt and pepper shakers. But cool ones. They're silver rockets because, of course, he is the Rocket Man.
Yeah, and they're also Adam over $6,000.
Do you think he's going to use them?
No,
I think that's like really fancy salt.
I think you need to keep them in the cabinet and point at them randomly. Britney gave me those.
Put it on your salad.
Yeah.
Well,
He's only gonna whip them out when Britney comes over for dinner.
And that's what'll happen. We'll get quoted out of context. Kelly said Elton John's gonna whip them out. What? On 90's Now, season 11. Crazy start to a new season.
My goodness.
Oh my goodness. You guys ready for a 90's rewind?
Ready.
Yes, we are. The first one.
Let's do it. It's pretty cool, actually. Speaking of Puffy, because Puffy performed with Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin on a reimagining of a Led Zeppelin tune on a Puff Daddy song called Come With Me. It was Kashmir, I think, that they sampled on that one.
I think that makes sense.
Was there a reimagining as long as the original song?
No, actually, because Kashmir is like 8.5, eh?
Yeah, something like that.
I just wanted to make sure that anybody was listening knew that we were Canadian. It's 8.5, eh? So to go from 1998 with Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page, we can quite easily do the same slip over here and get into Ace of Base.
Oh.
And their take on it was a full-on cover, not a reimagining, but a full-on cover of Bananarama's Cruel Summer.
That was so good.
Yeah, totally.
Very good.
There was a couple of Canadians also on this little flashback. One, Shania Twain. Yeah, you guys know her. Also, Sarah McLachlan. You know her too. Shania Twain gave us You're Still the One, kind of a power ballad, but nice and huge in 1998. And Sarah McLachlan was looking for was it a 3-syllable name, but short, to be able to work in the song that she performed, which was, oops, sorry, Shadow. Kick my dog. Just kidding.
That'll make the season 11 promo.
Adia is the name of the song.
Yeah.
Such a song. It's just so, it has like a heart wrench to it.
Mhm.
Oh, love it. Great. And also to round us out, Madonna.
Madonna.
Madonna had a song, the top 40. Around this time in 1998 was Ray of Light.
Such a great
Not
song.
a ballad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so much energy and such great Madonna-ness.
And from what I gather, by the way, her new album that she put out with her 50 like hits, like dance hits or whatever, it's
Mhm.
already gone to #1, I think, on the Billboard Dance.
Nice.
Cool.
And she's now had a hit in like four decades, I think, 4 or 5, something crazy like that.
Do you know why?
She's
She's
Madonna.
badada.
And I don't know if both had a chance, because I'm not sure if we had gone on break yet when it came out, but the Beyonce remix, have you listened to it?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Sharon, you have to listen to this.
show.
It's called the Queen's remix of Break Your Soul, and they mix Vogue with Break Your Soul.
Okay, I'll do
Yeah.
it.
It's Sharon, it'll be the best thing you've done to yourself all week. Like by
That's
listening to
amazing.
this.
Are you sure?
That should also go in the promo. That should also go in the promo.
It's a totally different show, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this dirty verge of 90s Now.
On that note, a big shout out to our listeners that are tuning in, and Rachel and Carolyn and Shane.
Yeah,
everyone
thanks you
else
guys.
listening.
Thanks for
And
checking
Ginger
in.
Bear.
Ginger Bear, yes, Ginger Bear, Adam's favorite.
Ginger gets a shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks you guys. We appreciate it. Feedback, reaching out, just saying hey on any level of social media. We're here for you, and we're back to tackle another great big season of 90s Now. Still happening.